Hello gamers, this is Sai and welcome back to Which Way Games. What does it take to become a true hero?
I'll have two number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, two number 45s, one with cheese, and a large soda.
Well, that's different. With that being said, let's get on with the video. Before I start, I just want to thank everybody. We finally reached over 100 subscribers and I'm so grateful to everyone that subscribed. And yes, the games room is different now. I'll make a tour video soon once I've finished setting it all up. Plus, at the end of the video, I will be making a special announcement, so
stick around.
Anyway, myths and legends have always fascinated mankind ever since the first story was told. Stories ranging from the very creation of the world, the origin of fire, and all the way up to a strange creature living within Loch Ness. Now, one group of stories that's widely popular around the world are the ones that come from the country of Greece. Greek mythology has stories such as Zeus freeing his siblings from the belly of Kronos, the journey Jason took in search of the Golden Fleece, and the labours of the demigod Hercules. Speaking of the demigod, I'll be looking at Disney's Hercules for the PlayStation, which some gamers class as the pinnacle of Disney games. Development for Hercules began several years after the animated movie was put in production in 1992. The idea was to have Hercules appear on the 16-bit consoles of the time, but with the introduction of the 5th generation of consoles, this gave game developer Eurocom more freedom to create a game that would end up being a video game tie-in to Disney's 35th animated film. Working alongside Virgin Interactive supervisors, Eurocom developers utilised the Digicel technique used in Aladdin for the Mega Drive. Eurocom wanted to create a game where gamers could feel like the legendary hero and explore the world of ancient Greece. But with the limitations of the PlayStation, Eurocom had to come up with something that wasn't seen before. Combining 3D polygons with 2D sprites seemed the best way to bring in the future of gaming, but still remaining true to the 2D roots Hercules originally started with. Now that Hercules was finished, Disney executives viewed the game and were impressed with what they saw. And with the film ready to be released and hype building up about it, publisher Virgin Interactive got the nod from Disney to release the game early, and in late 1997, Hercules was released. And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Disney's Hercules was advertised.
We'll take it from here, darling.
You go, girl.
Oh, yeah!
Disney's Hercules. Be a hero, save cities, slay mythical monsters, get the girl, and become a god. Hercules. This is the great legend. As the hero in Disney's hit movie Hercules, you'll enter a spectacular 3D universe alive with danger. Escape certain death, move fast, and slice faster as you challenge the multi-headed Hydra. Adventure through 9 levels of the most intense action ever. Battle the monstrous Cyclops. Face the fire-breathing Titans on the wings of Pegasus. Star-studded voices will guide you as you fight to prove you have what it takes to be a legend in your own time. Hercules, now on Sony PlayStation, presented by Disney and Virgin Interactive.
The story of Hercules follows the plot of the film, being based in ancient Greece. With the Titans now imprisoned beneath the waves of the ocean, Zeus, the ruler of all the Greek gods, and his wife Hera have a child called Hercules. On Mount Olympus, all the other gods welcome the new baby with open arms. However, Hades has always been jealous of Zeus and plans to overthrow him so he can rule over Mount Olympus and eventually the entirety of Greece. Turning to the Fates for help, they inform Hades of a planetary alignment that will allow him to free the Titans and overthrow Zeus, and then go on to conquer Mount Olympus. But the Fates warn Hades that if Hercules intervenes, the battle will be lost and Hades will remain in the darkness for all eternity. With this in mind, Hades sends 2 minions called Pain and Panic to dispose of baby Hercules. The two manage to kidnap Hercules and make him drink a potion that will turn him mortal, but they're interrupted by the farmers and Tryption and Alcamine before the final drop is consumed. This final drop turns out to be the very essence that gives a god superhuman strength. And pain, as well as panic, turn into snakes to scare the farmers away. But the young Hercules clutches the snakes and throws them miles away into the opposite direction. With this good deed of heroism, Hercules is adopted by the elderly farmers, and years later, he grows up to be a bit of an outcast due to his immense strength.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Hercules desires to know where he belongs in the world of men, and when it's revealed that he's adopted, Hercules sets off to the Temple of Zeus for answers. Being informed by the animated statue of Zeus that for Hercules to join him on Mount Olympus, he must regain his godhood by becoming a true hero. With this in mind, Hercules sets off to find a satyr known as Felicitas, but as the trip is long, Zeus sends Pegasus to aid Hercules in his journey. Learning that Hercules is still alive, Hades plans a plot to stop Hercules by any means necessary, including using a young girl called Meg to try and distract the boy Wanda. Hades claims he will return her soul in exchange for her help to stop Hercules. Eventually, Hercules meets Felicitas, who wants to be called Phil, and his journey to become a true hero begins with the many trials and tribulations along the way, including meeting beautiful Meg. Gameplay for Disney's Hercules has gamers controlling the demigod through some of the locations of ancient Greece. Some of the stages in Disney's Hercules don't actually appear in the film of the same name, but more of that on later. Starting out on a training level, Hercules must dodge the various hazards and death traps while Phil is in the background spurring Hercules along, as well as controlling the very mechanisms that the hero of legend has to avoid. Although new gamers might end up eating their controllers while learning the game's controls. Graphics for Hercules is mainly two-dimensional, but there are missions that will allow Hercules to walk into the background as well as the foreground, giving the game its layered look. Hercules controls like most platformers with the ability of running and jumping with added attack abilities, such as the usual punching as well as using a sword to take down enemies. And as for the use of Hercules' godly strength, this is put to use when going up against bosses as well as winding up a punch to get rid of a pillar that might be in the way. Throughout each stage, power-ups can be obtained to increase Hercules' health as well as different elemental powers for the sword he wields. In many of the stages there are hidden letters that spell the word Hercules. Not only are these hidden letters difficult to find, but there are also 4 hidden vases that will give away a secret password for the current stage, providing gamers wish to return to it later on different playthroughs. Now, a great thing that made Disney's Hercules different from other platformers on the PlayStation was the boss stages. Being the strongest man in all of Greece, gamers were quite surprised that in order to defeat an end of stage boss, gamers would have to figure out a special action to defeat the boss and proceed through to the next stage. In fact, some of the events in the film give clues on how to beat some of the bosses within the game. When released, Disney's Hercules was divided by critics and gamers alike, with reviews giving either positive or negative points for the game. Most of these critics praised the game's mixture of levels, but the difficulty spike did have some gamers becoming frustrated due to Hercules becoming an increasingly difficult game to play, especially on the harder game modes. Coming back to the story, with Hercules being unstoppable with every threat sent his way, Hades learns that Meg has fallen in love with our legendary hero. Hades tricks Hercules into giving up his super strength for one day, on the condition that Meg is unharmed. Agreeing to this, Hercules loses all his power, but is then enlightened that Meg has been working for Hades the whole time. Now with Hercules out of the way, Hades releases the Titans and storms Mount Olympus, capturing the gods. Obviously drunk with power, Hades sends a Cyclops to Thebes to finish off Hercules, but while the Cyclops is laying waste to the city, Meg is fatally wounded by a falling pillar and Hercules regains his powers. Rushing to save the gods of Olympus and freeing them from their captivity, Hercules sadly is too late to rescue Meg, and she's sent to the underworld with Hades. Now with her soul being the property of Hades, Hercules has to venture to the underworld in order to save her and put a stop to Hades once and for all. Seeing Meg has become part of the River Styx with all the other souls owned by Hades, Hercules sacrifices himself in order to save her. Diving into the River Styx, Hercules almost loses his life reaching Meg, but luckily, as if by fate, he manages to rescue her soul. This act of self-sacrifice acts as the catalyst to restore his godhood, and Hercules now becomes a living god. He then emerges from the River Styx with Meg in his arms. Hades is stunned by this, but is also fearful of Hercules, and so he offers a truce, but in a fit of anger as well as rage, Hercules punches Hades into the River Styx, where wayward souls drag him under. Being summoned by the gods of Mount Olympus, Hercules ascends to the home of the gods, where they welcome him home with open arms. However, Hercules refuses to live as a god, but decides to spend his life on Earth with Meg as well as his friends. Touched by his son's humbleness, Zeus makes a constellation in the stars where all can remember who Hercules is, as well as his teacher Phil.
That's Phil's voice!
Now, as I said before, Disney's Hercules was released prior to the main film, which gave fans as well as gamers the chance to get a first glimpse of an upcoming film that took the world by storm. In fact, there were some cutscenes that didn't appear in the main film, and parts of the game would expand more of the story that the Hercules film briefly glimpsed at. Now, the film itself grossed over $250 million and turned out to be a huge success that over time, the Hercules video game will be re-released over several gaming platforms over the years. And with a recent run of live action reboots of the old Disney animated movies, it does make me wonder if a Hercules version is on the way. Overall, Hercules on the PlayStation is a fun game to play that will certainly have fans of the film feeling right at home. The controls are responsive and not once did I feel like the game was unfair. Playing in the harder settings will certainly push gamers, but then what gamer doesn't like a challenge set by the Greek gods? Hercules is definitely one of those games that will fit perfectly within any gamer's collection, and is a reminder of the transition from 2D gaming to 3D. And now it's time for that special announcement that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Now that the channel has reached its first milestone of over 100 subscribers, I'm happy to announce that I now have a Discord server. This will allow gamers to interact with me and my moderators about the channel, as well as suggesting video ideas, different games, game related topics, and so much more. It's also a way of thanking those that have subscribed, and hopefully will encourage more to do the same. Anyway, come back next time where Rayman has to free the Great Pro 2 and restore balance to the once peaceful valley he calls home. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.
We'll be right back.